You don't lose because you're weak. You lose because you react. They push a button. You respond. They give you silence. You panic. They invalidate you. You try to prove your worth. That's not strength. That's slavery. And here's the brutal truth. As long as you respond emotionally, you are easy to control. But what if you didn't react? What if you could feel everything and still choose nothing? No reply, no shift in tone, no loss of center, just calm, cold, precise. That's not detachment, that's domination. In this video, we'll break down how cold logic works, why emotional detachment is your greatest psychological weapon, and how to use it to disarm manipulators, stay in control, and walk away untouched, no matter what they try to trigger. 1. Why emotional people always lose. Emotional people believe they're authentic. They think feeling deeply makes them more human, more honest, more real. But here's what they never realize. Every emotion you show is information, and information is ammunition. You get angry when ignored. Now they know how to control your attention. You get anxious when someone pulls away. Now they know how to make you chase. You get defensive when criticized. Now they know exactly how to break your confidence. You think you're expressing yourself, but what you're really doing is giving your power away. One reaction at a time. Because when you're emotionally reactive, you're not responding to reality. You're responding to a trigger, a memory, a fear, a wound. And the moment someone figures out what triggers you, you become programmable. That's how manipulators win. They don't need logic, they don't need facts, they just need leverage. And nothing gives them more leverage than your feelings. You say you hate games, but every time they pull back, you chase harder. Every time they insult you, you try to explain. Every time they disappear, you start overthinking. That's not authenticity, that's dependency. And dependency is weakness. Here's a rule most people never learn. The person who needs the outcome the most has the least control. And emotional people, they always need something: closure, validation, understanding, fairness. So they keep engaging, keep explaining, keep hoping. Meanwhile, the cold one stays silent, unmoved, detached, and in that stillness, they win. Because nothing is more terrifying to a manipulator than someone they can't affect. You want to flip the script? Stop bleeding emotions in front of people who feed on them. Feel everything internally, but respond with nothing externally. That's power. That's cold logic. 2. What is cold logic? Most people confuse cold logic with being robotic, unfeeling, detached from humanity. But that's not cold logic. That's dysfunction. Cold logic isn't the absence of emotion. It's the absence of emotional control over your decision-making. You can feel pain without reacting. You can feel anger without attacking. You can feel disappointment without needing to explain. Cold logic is the ability to pause, analyze, and respond based on calculation, not reaction. It's when your emotions scream and you whisper back, "Not now." It's when they try to provoke you and you simply observe, unshaken, unpredictable, because once you remove emotional urgency, you gain mental clarity, and clarity leads to power. This is how elite-level negotiators win. This is how top-tier strategists dominate. This is how psychological warfare is conducted. Not by reacting, but by waiting, watching, then moving precisely. Cold logic allows you to see through the noise. You don't get blinded by insults. You don't get flattered by attention. You don't get baited by silence. Instead, you ask, what's the outcome I want here? What's the emotional game they're playing? What happens if I say nothing? That's cold logic. It's how you stay calm when they explode. It's how you keep control when they ghost. It's how you stay valuable while they grow desperate. Most people rush to reply, rush to fix, rush to be understood. But power doesn't rush. It waits, because time reveals more than words ever will. And here's the paradox. The colder your logic becomes, the more powerful your presence appears. Why? Because people feel your restraint. They feel the weight of your silence, the precision in your words, the lack of neediness. And that scares them because they realize they can't read you. They can't shake you. They can't control you. That's why cold logic isn't just useful. It's lethal. It makes you emotionally untouchable, psychologically sovereign, and socially unpredictable. Because in a world full of people reacting, the one who stays still controls the game. 3. Emotional detachment equals power. Most people think detachment means you don't care. That's not true. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means control. You still feel, but you don't let the feeling dictate your actions. You don't rush to speak. You don't fight for clarity. You don't beg for closure. You observe. You wait. You calculate. That's emotional power. The world worships passion, but passion burns out. It consumes, and when it's gone, all that's left is regret. But detachment, it's stable, it's surgical, it's efficient. It gives you room to think, room to study the battlefield, room to make decisions not based on fear or need, but based on leverage. You become the observer, not the participant. And in psychological warfare, the observer always wins, because when you're detached, they can't trigger you, they can't confuse you, they can't trap you in emotional quicksand. They start projecting, overreacting, chasing, doubting, while you remain still, unshaken, and that stillness drives them insane. It makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Here's what emotional detachment really looks like. Someone insults you. You don't defend. You assess. Someone pulls away. You don't chase. You vanish. Someone tries to bait you. You don't respond. You let them drown in their own noise. You become the silence they fear, the calm they can't provoke, the presence they can't ignore. And here's the twist. The more detached you are, the more others obsess over you, because you're no longer reacting to their behavior. You're redefining the dynamic. They lose control, and you gain it. Because nothing makes someone question themselves more than facing a person who's emotionally unavailable, yet completely composed. That contrast is magnetic. It's disturbing. It's power. And once you get used to this level of emotional control, you can't go back. You stop explaining. You stop arguing. You stop leaking energy into people who drain you. You no longer feel the need to be understood. Because you understand yourself. You don't engage in chaos. Because you are the calm. That's what emotional detachment gives you. Clarity, presence, authority. And the more detached you become, the more powerful you appear, not because you say more, but because you don't need to say anything at all. 4. How to apply cold logic in real life. Theory is useless without application, so how do you turn cold logic into a daily weapon? You use it in moments that matter, when emotions run high, when the stakes feel personal, when people try to pull you into their chaos. Here's how it looks in real life. 1. In relationships, don't react to emotional traps. Someone gives you the silent treatment. Don't chase. Silence back, calm, controlled, intentional. Someone tries to provoke you with passive aggression. Don't bite. Respond with facts, not feelings. Or better, don't respond at all. Someone threatens to leave just to test you. Let them. You don't reward manipulation with attention. Every reaction you give is currency. Stop spending it on emotional blackmail. 2. In arguments, pause before you respond. The moment you feel triggered, stop. Pause 3 seconds. Why? Because that pause is a disruptor. It breaks the emotional pattern. It gives you back control. Ask yourself, do I want to win or do I want to be right? Because winning isn't about yelling louder, it's about staying quieter. Longer. 3. In conversations, control the frame. Most people talk to be liked. You speak to lead. Let others over-explain. Let them reveal too much. You stay still, minimal, observant. Use silence. Use eye contact. Use intentional pauses. It creates pressure without saying a word. Cold logic in speech means every word is a bullet, not background noise. 4. In business or work, delay equals power. Someone pressures you for a decision. Say, let me sit with it, even if you already know the answer. Delaying shows dominance. It resets power dynamics. It communicates, I decide on my time, not yours. Even in interviews, negotiations, meetings, the one who speaks least often controls the tempo. Don't fill silence. Own it. 5. In conflict, don't mirror emotion. Counter it. If they're loud, go quiet. If they're frantic, go still. If they're needy, go distant. You don't meet energy, you redirect it. This creates cognitive dissonance in their mind. They expected a reaction. They didn't get one. Now they're destabilized. And destabilized people are easier to influence. 6. In social settings, observe first, act later. You walk into a room. Don't try to stand out. Just observe. Watch who's posturing. Watch who's controlling the room. Watch who's uncomfortable with silence. Then speak, once, clearly, with intent. Let people lean in, not pull away. Cold logic equals presence without noise, and presence is what people remember. 7. Internal practice. Train your delay muscle. Every time you feel the urge to react, pause. Not to suppress, but to choose. Say nothing. Breathe. Let the emotion pass like a wave. Then respond from a place of clarity, not compulsion. You don't need to be robotic. You just need to stop bleeding emotions into people who use them against you. This is how cold logic becomes power, not just in big moments, but in the small, silent decisions you make every day. When you don't respond to that text right away, when you wait before accepting that apology, when you choose to observe instead of retaliate. That's not weakness. That's psychological warfare in its cleanest form. You're not reacting, you're designing. Every move, every silence, every pause, engineered for control. CTA. In a world full of noise, the one who moves in silence controls the outcome. Cold logic isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about training your responses. Because when you stop reacting, you stop bleeding power, And when you stop bleeding power, people stop being able to drain you. You no longer chase clarity. You create it. You no longer beg for peace. You enforce it. And the best part, you don't need to explain anything. Your presence speaks. Your stillness speaks louder than any emotional argument ever could. People will notice. They'll feel something different around you, not because you're louder, but because you've become unreadable. You'll walk away from emotional chaos without guilt. You'll make decisions others fear to make. You'll stay grounded. While everyone else is falling apart, that's cold power. And once you've tasted it, there's no going back. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, say less. React slower. Delay every emotional response by just a few seconds, and watch the world shift around you. You'll realize how much of your life was being controlled. Not by others, but by your own impulsive emotions. Cut the wire, hold the frame, and let silence do the heavy lifting. This is just the beginning, because in the next video, we're going deeper into the code that runs all of this. The invisible scripts they planted in your mind. Before you can control others, you must first reprogram the subconscious that's been controlling you. Get ready. It's time to rewrite your mind